So the Adrien Prize has announced its shortlist for this year, and I just thought it would be fun to read the shortlisted books with you and see who I would pick as my winner before, hopefully before the actual prize winner is announced. Wow, that was a struggle. I am struggling with words today. If you don't know, the Adrien Prize was founded by Elle McNichol, and it is for commercial children's fiction that explores the disability experience. As a disabled person myself, I am fully behind this prize and I want to support it however I can, even if it is just making a video and talking about it. We need more good disability rep in books, and especially children's books. And so I'm just so excited that this prize exists and that it can introduce me to even more good disability rep books in kids fiction. So there are 4 books on the shortlist. However, I believe one of them is the 3rd book in a series, so it looks like I'll have some more books to read on top, but it's children's fiction. They should be fast-paced and easy to get through. I also don't know when the prize is being announced. I don't think it's been said anywhere, and if I recall, I think Elle has said before that with the nature of how the prize is judged and everything, I don't think she puts a hard and fast deadline on it. I know that the shortlist is judged by young people and librarians from like across the country, and I would assume some of them are probably disabled as well. So as from what I recall, I don't think Elle puts a deadline on it, just so that there's no pressure and people can read and enjoy at their own times and not feel like they just have to, you know, get it done. So as far as I know, there's no deadline, there's no prize announcement date yet, and I should hopefully have more than enough time to read them all before then. But even if I take longer and the prize gets announced, I think it'll still be fun to read these books and share my thoughts and promote some good disability rep. So let us... Oh wait, it literally says here, shortlist announced in January, winner announced in April. I have until April. Good to know. The first book on the shortlist is When I See Blue by Lily Bailey, and this is an own voices portrayal of OCD. I believe I have a copy of this on my Kindle, so I can hopefully start that soon. Next is Vivi Conway and the Sword of Legend by Lizzie Huxley Jones, and I actually have a physical copy of this. Again, I don't know how I got that. I think I must have won it, but I have a physical copy, so I can get to that one relatively soon. I want to say that this will be autism representation because I know that Hux is autistic, but we will find out when we read it. The next is The Circle Breakers by Patience Agbabi. This, yes, the 3rd book in the Leap Cycle series. So I will need to read the first 2. I know my library has the 1st book on audio, and I think, oh no, I've reserved all 3 of these through the library. I just need to wait for them to come in. My brain's not working. But this is about if neurodivergent kids could leap through time. Comped to Percy Jackson, and it's fun, fast sci-fi with modern themes. I am very excited for that one. And the 4th one is J. Ben and the Golden Torch by Thomas Leeds. The main character has epilepsy, I think, from looking at that description. We've got a nice mix of things going on. We've got sci-fi, we've got fantasy. I think When I See Blue is contemporary. But all of these just look really cute and sound really fun, and I'm excited to get started on them. Hello. I have no idea how long it's been since I last filmed anything for this vlog. I actually don't know what I last filmed, or if I only filmed the intro saying that I wanted to read the Adrien Prize books, shortlisted books. Sorry, I'm struggling. I am sick. Love that for me. I started to get a sore throat yesterday, and it was really sore today, but strepsils and what's this, cold and flu, they are my saviour today. And hot honey water, I have drank my entire body weight in hot honey water today, and it is soothing the throat, but I can feel a tickle starting. Hannah from Ladette M was doing sprints today, and she told me that the cough was coming, and it it's coming and I'm mad about it. And I also feel like I'm getting a bit achy, but that could be just general aches and, not aches and pains, but like that could just be from yoga yesterday. I think that's wishful thinking. So I just wanted to check in just now because I've had to renew, I don't even know if I told you I got these, but the third book of this is one of the shortlisted books, so I need to read the first two, and they were due back on the 7th of February. It's the 13th just now, and I've had to extend them, and I've read 10 pages. So I've brought this upstairs with me because I'm thinking I'm just going to spend tomorrow in bed and hopefully read. I have also brought my laptop upstairs, and I do have a TV facing my bed that has access to all my streaming services, so this might also be wishful thinking, but I thought maybe if I update the vlog before I end up, I feel like I'm gonna end up with like a full-on chest infection and just be completely out of it. So I thought at least if I have a little filler clip, maybe I'll feel compelled, if I feel well enough, to read this. Because it's been a good 10 pages. Oh, listen, I've just been struggling the last couple of weeks, the last month, I don't know how long. The camera is also struggling. It wants to focus on my mirror, which, to be fair, it's a gorgeous mirror, so fair enough. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking before my throat gets sore, and I'm just gonna go do some skincare, put pajamas on, get into bed, hopefully read, probably crash. I'll probably see you in like 3 weeks time. I'm no longer sick. It's been about a week. I'm slightly snuffly, but for all intents and purposes, physical health is pretty much back to normal, so great. Wanted to check in because I have finally read a book on my TBR for this vlog, but it was not one of the shortlisted books. It was The Infinite by Patience Agbabi, which is book 1 of the Leap cycle, book 3 being one of the shortlisted books. So I figured get these out of the way first, plus I borrowed them from the library. I've had to renew them twice. I cannot sit and read a book physically for the life of me, which is great given pretty much every single book that I need to sit down and read imminently I don't have audios for, so love that. But The Infinite, obviously I don't want to talk too much about it because that's not one of the shortlisted books, but I also, when I read the third one, I can't tell you much about that because it's the third in a series. But basically The Infinite is about leaplings who are kids born on a leap year, like on the 29th of February, in a leap year, obviously, because otherwise it wouldn't be the 29th of February. And they have this gift where they can like leap through time. There's this like event that these kids go on. So these kids that we're following, our main character Elle, she is going on a visit to the Time Squad Centre, which I think the Time Squad is like the time police. They like police people that jump through time, all this. Anyway, it's this thing called Leap 2048. So they jump from 2020 to 2048. And there's a bit of a mystery involved. Some leaplings have gone missing. There's also a lot of things thrown in. Like there's a big thing about meat consumption and veganism, and like robots and robot like rebellions. There's a lot of things like that just kind of thrown in. I didn't personally feel like it was like super in your face, but I have also very recently pretty much, I don't want to say entirely stopped eating meat because I'm much more flexitarian than vegetarian, but like I am now someone who consciously reduces my meat intake, so I'm probably less noticed, like, you know what I mean, like I'm not going to be as affected by like this rhetoric in my face because I'm like, yeah, I agree. So yeah, like there was just a couple things, as I say, there was also like the robots and stuff, and it was just a bit jumpy, which is ironic given it's about leaping. Anyway, I think I rated it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook. The audiobook's great. It was on my library. It's also on Audible. Highly recommend it. It's a short book. This is the second book, but it's about the same length. It's 250 pages.
Our main character is about 11. I think she's like turning 12 on the leap year. This reads younger. She read quite young to me, but then maybe she's just a young 12-year-old. I don't know. But I think that might have been by design because, as I say, this is quite short. Now, it's middle grade, which to me usually is like 9 to 12. But this, as I say, she reads younger than 12. And I think that's by design because I think this is intended for a younger middle grade reader. And that's why certain things like the discussions on meat intake and the robots, it just didn't go as fleshed out. That's meat intake, flesh. Well done, Emma. And like, I don't mean like, oh, it didn't go on to a whole lecture about being vegan. I just mean that there was little bits of like conversation dropped in and then just kind of forgotten. There's a character in here who was built up to seem really intriguing, really exciting. He only spoke in rhyme as well, which like we never got an explanation for that. And we don't always need an explanation for things. People can just talk in rhyme if they want to, like, but you know, he was really built up and I feel like he was barely in the book. He literally would pop in and then just leave and I was just like, where are you? Like, why is this not happening? Why is this book so short? We could flesh this out. And I don't know. It was just conflicting. Like, it wasn't like it was bad, and that's why I'm like, oh, I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I think I just really wanted more from it. But viewing it for what it is and for the age range it is, like, I fully recommend it. Like, I can't fault it on that. The one thing I didn't like, and this might have been me, because I started reading it physically and then very quickly went to audio, and it takes me a minute to like, for my brain to process and catch up and get into the audio. So it might very well be that there was some sort of explanation round about that point that I missed. But our main character's best friend, Ben, is autistic. I think Elle is as well. I can't remember if it's explicitly said for her. I definitely get neurodivergent vibes from her anyway, but I know for a fact that Ben is described as being autistic. He repeatedly asks Elle, out of the fucking blue, if he's her boyfriend. And he will, like, they'll just be talking and he'll be like, just in his own little bubble, and then he'll just be like, am I your boyfriend? Sorry, I'm using the accent because that's what the the audiobook did, but like literally just out the blue, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what's the relevance of this? And because the book read so young to me and the characters read so young to me, I was just like, why are you asking that? Like, you're like 10. They're not 10. And also I know 10-year-olds that go about saying they've got boyfriends and girlfriends, so it shouldn't be surprising. But I don't know, it was just one of those things that I was a bit like, but I'm also aware that that may well be a fairly common trait with some autistic kids. Not necessarily asking, am I your boyfriend, but like asking that sort of question or something, you know? And it's just not what I've experienced. And I am very cautious when it comes to reading experiences out of my own. Like, I am autistic, but I've only experienced my autistic experience. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, the first time I read A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol, I was like, this is not my experience. And that doesn't make it bad representation. And I do not think this was bad representation. I really did actually enjoy the representation in this. Elle definitely was relatable. And why is there so many L's, by the way? Like, I'm noticing this. Sorry, like, Elle McNichol, the main character here is called Elle. The book, I'm going to a book event next week. The author is called Elle. Like, what's going on? But anyway, that was a very long-winded, much longer-winded than intended way of saying I really enjoyed the book, but I just have very high hopes for the other books, and while I'm excited to read book 2 and excited to read book 3, currently I don't see it being my, I was gonna say my top 3. I don't want to do a top 3 because that means I'm putting one last. It won't be in my like top 2, so I don't even want to tell you how long it has been since I filmed anything, never mind filmed for this vlog, but I will. Or rather I won't, because I can't remember when I last filmed, but I will tell you that it is now the 3rd of April. Listen, I've had a time. I have been struggling but we're feeling a bit better. And we're just gonna push on. There's no competition here. Well, there is because it's a prize, but I'm not in any sort of competition. I am just going to try and get on with this, pick my winner for the Adrien Prize, and if I find out who the actual winner is before I've read them all, I'll just try and not be influenced by that. It's fine. But so far, I don't know what I filmed. I know I was like reading the I think it's the time. I was reading the first 2 books in this series because this is the 3rd one that's up for the prize, but I wanted to read the first 2 books, obviously. And I was kind of updating on those, but I think it was making the video too long. So whether I've included those or just kind of skipped through, I don't know what I've included so far. Part of me wants to just end this video here and start a new one. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going along with it. As of yet, the 3rd of April, given I started this vlog like 2 or 3 months ago, I have not read a single shortlisted Adrien Prize book. There's only 4. I haven't read a single one. So we're gonna get on with it. I think I'm gonna pick this one up first because I have had this book. This is from the library. Yeah, I've had this book since the end of January. It was first due back the 7th of February, and then I renewed it again online like 3 times. Then I had to take it back into the library to take it out again, and it was due back the 2nd of April, so I renewed them last night. I have had these books for almost the entirety of this year, so I need to read this one, go return them all, whole thing. But yeah, I'm gonna start with The Circle Breakers by Patience Agbabi because I've read the first 2 books in the series, so I'd rather just continue on. I read the first 2 via audio. I did take them out of the library physically, but then I wanted an audiobook. This one doesn't have an audiobook yet, so I'm a bit disappointed, but it's short, it should be quick. I don't think this will be my winner. I know I haven't read it yet, but based on the first 2, like, they're good books, they're enjoyable, but they're just too short for me. I want them to be longer. And I don't know if that's a good critique. Like, because, you know, sometimes a shorter book's more accessible, but we're basing it purely on my enjoyment, and I have very high hopes for Vivi Conway. I have had this. I was very, very kindly sent a copy of this from, it was either the publisher or the PR team, I can't remember, but I just obviously never got around to it, and I'm very sad about that, but I have very, very high hopes. So yeah, I'm gonna try and read this today. It's 2 o'clock, I'm gonna try and just sit and read this today. Never mind, I have other books on the go. Time crunch. Funny, because this is a book about time travel, and yes, I did just hit myself in the face with it. So yeah, we're gonna read that one. We'll use J-Ben as my current audiobook because I finished my audiobook last night, and then When I See Blue will be my Kindle book, and then once this is finished, I can start on this, and it's fine. We're gonna get these books read within like a week. Never mind, I also would like to reread Kidlit and do a spoiler vlog for the release next week. This is fine. I work good on a deadline. I'm gonna shut up because this clip's already 5 minutes and I've still not read a single one of these books. Let's go. So yesterday I managed to read almost 100 pages of The Circle Breakers, and I'm thrilled with that. I genuinely have barely touched a physical book in over a month. Like, I think in about 5 or 6 weeks, you're lucky if I've read 50 pages physically. I've listened to audiobooks and I've read my Kindle a little bit. But yeah, I am thrilled that I managed to just sit and read physically yesterday. So feeling really good about it. I'm really hoping that I will finish this today. It's less than 100 pages left, and I read that yesterday, so I know I can read it today, but we'll see what happens because I do have to go out this evening and collect some of my rats. I have 2 rats at a friend's house. They have been having a romantic getaway, so I need to bring them home and set up some maternity cages. Anyone who's new to my channel is probably like, sorry, what? Hi, I breed rats. Moving on. So yes, I'm really enjoying this one so far. I don't know if it's because I'm reading it physically, although I am hearing the narrator's head no. I am hearing the narrator's voice in my head because I had just listened to the second book last week, so the voice is like fresh in my mind. But anyway, I don't know if reading it physically is just making it work better, or if, you know, it's the third book and things are getting going more, or maybe, you know, because it, again, the author maybe has, I don't want to say improved on the writing, but you know, maybe the writing style's changed. Like, I don't know, but I'm getting along with this one better than the first two. I did enjoy the first two, I did, but I don't know, I was very, very certain that this book wouldn't necessarily be a contender for me, but like, who knows? Who knows? I haven't read the other ones yet. So, I might have lied. I say might. It's 11:15 at night, and I'm on page 130. So I still have like 63 pages? I can't remember how many pages this is. I think it's 193 pages. So yeah, I've got like just over 60 pages to read. If I read right now, I could potentially finish by midnight, but I'm not in the mood to read right now. I want to like go like brush my teeth, put my pajamas on, maybe watch some YouTube and then read. And I might read this, or I might read on my Kindle, or read this and then on my Kindle, I don't know. So there is still a chance that I will finish this book before I go to bed tonight, even if it's after midnight, but potentially I'm finishing it tomorrow, but it's fine. There's no well, there is a rush because I would like to read all of these books and give my opinion before the awards announce, but yeah, they could be announcing it next week or at the end of April, but there's no point in me rushing, because like if they announce it tomorrow, like I cannot physically read all those books by tomorrow, so in my head I'm just a bit like, there's no point rushing. I'll either finish them before the announcement or I won't. It doesn't matter. It's just a bit of fun. This new mentality of like not panicking about times and stuff has also came from the fact that I was so excited to reread Kiddy by Elle McNichol and make like a full-on like detailed discussion vlog, like reading the book and talking about all my thoughts and not being worried about spoilers and stuff, and posting it for release day. Yeah, the book released today. I had it in my head that it was the 11th of April, but that's the day that I'm going to Elle's launch, and I think Estelle Mascom's book, Somewhere in the Sunset, comes out on the 11th. It definitely comes, yes it is, it's a week today, I'm certain it is. So I just got release dates mixed up, but it's fine, because it now means that I can do said spoilery vlog without being too concerned about spoiling a new release. Like, if I posted it on release day, it's very, like, the majority of people won't have read it. Whereas if I post it in a week or two, most people probably still won't have read it, but it feels less like you can't watch the video. And I'm not gonna like spoil, like, I don't even know. This video's not about that. I mean, it is because it's about Elle McNichol, because the Adrien Prize is Elle McNichol, but this vlog, this clip is too dark, and this vlog is gonna be way too long, but yes. I said I was going to check in with you when I finished the book. I could have just skipped this entire clip and just came back in and been like, yeah, I finished it the next day, but see you tomorrow. Okay. If I was a leapling, if I was able to travel in time, I would go back to the me that filmed the clip saying, I was pretty sure that this isn't gonna win. This was great. I think it's gonna be like a 4.25, but I don't believe this book is less than 200 pages. Like, that was my main gripe, like, with the first two books, was that they just seemed too short. And this is where I struggle with critiquing books and reviewing books, because it's middle grade, and I do think it's younger middle grade. Like, I think like this one majorly deals with grief at one point, like towards the end, and I cried. Someone died, I cried. So and I don't really get that invested in books, so, but definitely the first book and I think the second book as well, I could see younger, maybe like 7 or 8 confident advanced readers picking up, but, and obviously like again, like this book is very neurodivergent, not focused, because it's not like about that. The characters just happen to be autistic and dyslexic, but obviously I get like certain, even neurotypical people, but you know, with neurodivergence especially, you might find readers that they need shorter books. Look at Barrington Stoke books. You're really useful for dyslexic kids with the different font and background colours. They're often very short because attention spans, ADHD, all these things. So I get the benefit of the shorter book, but personally I wanted them to be longer. But this one just packed so much in, and it just, I don't know if it's because I read this one physically, but the other two were audio, and maybe I just don't take audio in as well. And so maybe I got more from this because I was more engaged with it. I don't know. That scares me, by the way, completely off topic, but if it turns out that like I just can't take books in properly when I do audio, that devastates me, because I heavily rely on audiobooks to actually ensure I still read sometimes. So, or I don't know, maybe it depends on how good the audiobooks are. I really like the narrator of the audiobooks. This one doesn't have an audiobook yet, but the first two do. Don't know if it's the same narrator, but I really enjoyed them. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain, maybe it's the audiobooks, maybe it's a combination, maybe it's the story combination. You get my point. I am waffling. I just really enjoyed this. I do feel like I'm going to get more out of some of the other books, specifically Vivi Conway. That one just seems to scream at me, and J-Ben and the Golden Torch, which I'm planning to read via audio, that one, those two books just seem to appeal to me more, so I have high hopes for them. I don't know, who knows what's gonna happen. This is the first book of the shortlist, but this has made me feel so fuzzy, which I like using that term because Elle actually says she feels fuzzy when getting ready to leap and stuff. So like, the representation in this, that was one of the things. I wasn't sure on the representation in the first book. One of the characters, Big Ben, felt quite juvenile, which he is a child in the first book. They're like 14 in this one. I think they're about 11 in the first book. But yeah, like there was just certain things, like in the first book, he consistently asked Elle, am I your boyfriend? And it came across as him just being just oblivious, you know, like just, and like not understanding things. But that didn't happen in the second or third book, so I don't know if that was like, I don't know. This is definitely an example of a series that just, the author improves with every book. I don't know if there's going to be a fourth one. I think there might be, because it definitely leads off where there could be one, and I hope there is. And I need to find out if Patience Agbabi has any other books either out or coming out, because love. So yeah, this was fabulous. I'm so stressed about how long this vlog's going to be, so potentially end of the vlog, and I'm gonna do a separate reading vlog for each of the books, or I'll see you in another clip when I pick up the next book. Elephant in the room. I'm a bit upset. Understatement. Some of you might know, or do know, that back in July 2021 I took on 4 baby field mice to hand raise, and 3 of them passed away quite young, like within the week, but one of them somehow made it. This is him. This was my little Gus. You might be able to guess where this is going, which really ironic given the last clip I was talking about how the book really I read dealt with grief. But Gus passed away this afternoon. I had been out, I came home, and I was with my mum in my room, and she turned around, looked in the tank and saw him lying there. It was surprising in that he hadn't been unwell, but he was like 33 months old. That's a good age for him, so I'm really glad of that. Just glad I got to have him. I knew this one would hurt. I have pet rats, if you don't know. Rats only live about 22 months roughly, so you know I have a lot of rats come and go. But I hand raised this little mouse. I couldn't close my eyes for more than like 15-20 minutes at a time overnight, because he needed fed every hour, but that meant sterilizing the equipment, making his milk, feeding his milk, stimulating him, because just fun fact, baby rodents can't make themselves, like, I don't know about peeing, but they can't poo like on their own, so you have to like massage and help it, and so I had to do that, and then I have to sterilize the equipment after it was used. And then, you know, I maybe have 20 minutes at most to close my eyes before I had to start that all over again. So it was a lot. I didn't sleep for a week. I was delusional and delirious. Obviously we were still like, we weren't in lockdown, but it was still kind of that time, and it was all just strange, and I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And he got 33 months of life because I did that, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the fact that I did that, and I'm so grateful that I got that time with him. And if anyone's wondering, he was far too confident around humans. And like, he grew up in a room with rats, so he thought rats were like friends, and if he'd gone into the wild he would have either gone into a rat's nest and got eaten by them, or he'd have gone to humans and got trapped and killed by them. So that's why I kept him. And yeah, clearly struggling a little bit today. I know I'll be fine in a few hours or a day or so, but I decided I want to just come on and really lower the tone of this vlog. Oh my goodness. But I think I know what I want to do is I want to make this Adrien Prize vlog multiple vlogs. So this is the Patience Agbabi book, this is the one for that book. I will do a vlog for When I See Blue, a vlog for Vivi Conway, and a vlog for J Ben. So, which is going to be hard given I'm reading them all at the same time, so that might be a lie, and maybe this one gets its own vlog, because I've read 3 books in the one vlog. It's a lot. I don't know. I'm not really interested in being like super organized and all like on top of things with my videos. I'm just trying to do this for just some fun and to share some books. And yeah, I think just for my own mental state, I need to just end this vlog and not have it in my mind that I should be doing that. Not that I'm going to really be reading much today anyway, but yeah, you're so welcome for the really happy, positive end of this vlog. Oh, yeah, it's fun, it's great. I've got a headache now, I might go for a nap, I don't know what. I'm just, yeah. So yeah, that's how things are going, and I'll see you guys very soon, and hopefully a lot happier.